Today with us is Simon Wex, a computer programmer and manager of computer programmers. He's been working remotely for the last 10 years, and we'd just like to talk to him today.
So I was a programmer for sort of 20 almost years, and then moved into a sort of hybrid role and then pure management.
No way. I pick. You're Mr. Pink. Be thankful you're not Mr. Yellow.
And now I'm a product manager. But yeah, mostly management these days. And so it's mostly either organization of work or organization of people, which often ends up being the same thing in the end.
I wanted to kind of pick your brain, because a lot of us are really new to this and are coming from an environment where we are working physically with people. They're all in the same room. We're interacting physically, getting feedback and even motivation that way. And now that's not happening. So how do we stay motivated as a team, stay connected, say socially or communicate properly, but then also make sure we're all moving towards the same goal and not splintering?
Yeah, that's easy for you to say. You're Mr. White. You have a cool sounding name.
It's all very different and not different at all from the way that people need to work together regularly, right? And so overall working effectively remotely as a team is exactly the same as working just effectively as a team. And so the same things you need when you're not remote, when you're remote, is you just have to sort of synthesize for the remote context. And so there's a lot of stuff that happens naturally, and it's just kind of built into our culture of working together that people know about, events that are going around because someone says something, announces it, someone walks into an office, and so you see a meeting happening, and you're like, oh, why are they here? You ask questions, that sort of goes. So that ambient awareness is one of those things that you sort of have to synthesize. There's also a very important thing in any team, which is you need trust.
So let's start with a very basic trust exercise. 1, 2, 3.
Ali, can I have a word?
Sure.
You need to trust the people you work with so that you can be vulnerable with your ideas, so that you can be creative, so that you can feel at ease, because you're not creative unless you can really be put at ease in any context, whether you're writing or whether you're in a meeting and trying to talk to someone, right? And so that often in the physical sense is built, that trust is built just through sort of non-work related activities and work related activities. Just this water cooler talk is the kind of classic one. Yeah. And so when you are all of a sudden remote and you have your team, there's often this feeling that when you get on a video call, you got to go straight to business in the same way that we just did, right? Yeah, we're talking real stuff. We caught up with pleasantries, even though you and I know each other pretty well. It's important in this context to make sure that you're making space for people to just chit chat.
So I'll just get straight into Qt Focus and
Hey guys, MC here.
Hey MC.
Hey McClure.
Yeah, so I was just saying about Q2.
Sorry, my internet's a bit slow. Sod's low.
Yeah, isn't it? That's great. It's like you can't trust them. Yeah, I was just saying, MC, I think that's everyone. So we're going to start with the Q2 Focus.
Oh, hi. Sorry, guys. I didn't get all of that. Are we starting with the Q3 Focus, yeah?
No, we're starting with Q2.
Hey, Kieran, you okay?
Hey, Stephen, all good. Yeah.
It's the Q2 Focus that we're starting with.
There's some extra level of guilt when you're doing a video call that you shouldn't be doing the water cooler talk, but it's actually an important part of it. It's also important, though, to build that into any of the systems. So if you have a meeting where you have an hour and you've got a lot of stuff to get to, it's not really the time, right? However, making sure that you set some time aside, either daily or weekly, to make sure people can join if they want to or not, and have a conversation, have a bit of a topic, make sure you do icebreaker kind of stuff, just to make sure that people take this awkward situation of staring at their computer and talking to it and start to feel comfortable and feel connected to the people they're with.
With your team, do you have kind of almost a schedule of checking in and a little bit of the water cooler built in, or?
So in synthesizing that culture, there are two most important pieces. One is rituals, and the other is shared assets or experience, right? And it's the same thing that you kind of get with your partner out of the business context. It's you kind of go through the same morning routine most days, and you have the same sort of shared things you do. And if you remove that from your relationship isn't much of anything anymore, right? And so the same thing exists, and you just have to create it for online stuff. And so one of the things I really like doing when you're managing a team is having a regular schedule, both weekly, but kind of a bit further out. And in software, it's often done with a thing called a sprint. It's a chunk of time where you have an expectation that everyone's going to kind of get aligned at the beginning of the sprint, and everyone's going to talk about the work they want to accomplish during that time. Even if they're not working on exactly the same thing, everyone knows about it. And that really helps with building that shared experience. And everyone gets together and they talk about kind of the size of their tasks and the challenges they have and the questions that they have. And then you can do a daily stand-up, which is called a stand-up in software because people literally stand around, and the whole idea is that it provides a bit of urgency. So you don't just pontificate, right? Right. And you go through the three things, the number one priority for the day, the biggest challenge within that, and what my blockers are. So like, what is stopping me from doing this? And if everyone goes around the room, kind of like everyone gets an understanding for what everyone's day looks like. And so that might be that you start using a tool like Slack, or you might have a regular stand-up on a video call, just like there's 15 minutes in the morning, everyone joins, you damn well better be on time, you go through that 15 minutes, everyone understands where everyone's day is, and kind of use it as a way to like drink coffee together and understand what the office looks like that day. Does that make sense? So in an office, when you're going in, often that can be like a sales board, or it can be like a whiteboard that's got like a list of things you're trying to do. It could just be, if you're in like a treatment center like you are, it could be just like the schedule. So you see like who's treating, how many people, that sort of thing. You kind of know who's in that day. Those sorts of things don't naturally exist when we're all in our homes. And that can be a real challenge. And so what I like to do is sort of lean on some of the tools that exist. Google Docs is a really great one. You can kind of do anything you want with it. And so I like leaning on that a lot. And so I use Google Docs for regular reoccurring meetings to have sort of a running set of agendas, and a single spot where everyone is sort of equal and they can all contribute to it. And so like, be really liberal with who you let modify those documents when you create them. Because like, there's version history, so don't worry about it. If someone deletes it, you just go back. Just make it so it's a spot where people can share a space and contribute to the agenda, but then also understand what it's going to be. I have to say there are some real benefits to working remotely. You can be more productive, and you can more effectively look at the work with a critical lens to figure out like what's important to actually do that day. And it cuts out a lot of the bullshit, which is just like randomly attending meetings that kill time before lunch.
Awesome.
Cool. Good to talk to you, man.
Let's go to work.